So I wanted to create this quick video just to talk a little bit about why I decided to start this YouTube channel, a little bit of background on myself, just to give you some context. This is probably a video I'm not really expecting a whole lot of viewership on, probably not a lot of likes or comments, but I just wanted to really record this for posterity purposes. Maybe a video I can look back on years from now and go, man, look how much you've grown, or wow, look how much better the background is, or whatever else. But just wanted to start off with a quick video introducing myself and a little bit of why I'm creating this channel. So the primary reason I wanted to create this YouTube channel was really to provide value to the world. And I feel like I have a lot of world experience, life experience, work experience that I can share with all of you. I've read a lot of books, interact with a very diverse audience in the community, have risen up in my career to senior level / management, executive level within my organization. So I feel there's a lot of tips that I can share and provide value to the world that I wanted to put out there. And part of that kind of goes to legacy as well. I think it's nice to be able to say that there's something that maybe lives beyond your lifetime, that has the potential of scalability, that could be accessed and utilized globally in a platform like YouTube. And of course, really, it only takes a little bit of time, a little bit of effort, and anybody can really do this. I have a pretty sophisticated setup here, but that's because I'm also a photographer. But literally with a cell phone and a tripod or a cell phone propped up against some books, you can create content too. That's actually one of the other reasons I created this channel. I'm a prolific consumer of YouTube content. I probably spend anywhere from 2 to 4 hours a night looking at various YouTube videos. Some of it's entertaining and for fun. Some of it's where I get my news from. Some of it is because I'm trying to learn a specific skill. A lot of it is around like I'm taking a vacation to a particular spot. I'm looking at buying a particular thing and I want to watch reviews or tips on that. Maybe it's a book. I recently created a photo book. It's right up here. So I wanted some tips on how to lay out a photo book and different publishers. So I go to YouTube, of course, for that. Maybe it's a simple life how-to kind of thing. But I consume a lot of YouTube content, and I wanted to shift from being a consumer to a creator. And again, going back to that first reason, being a creator so I can share my knowledge and give back as opposed to just taking. Another reason for why I wanted to create this channel was there is kind of a trend right now around content creators and the type of content that's being put out there. Probably for the longest time, I was hesitant to create a YouTube channel because I felt like I needed to do an over-edited, whiz-bang, take hours to edit and post-production kind of video content. There's been a pretty big shift in YouTube from everything I've seen or read, from experts that I've watched on YouTube, but also just content that I've seen and that I've been consuming, to a more pared back, genuine, simply edited sharing of content and value type of format, as opposed to constantly flying in and out B-roll, dynamic music throughout the whole thing, etc. So it is kind of nice to be able to create content and not have the fear of having to create content that's then going to take you multiple hours to edit, or advanced editing skill sets that you're going to be able to need in order to create the content. I think that's really changed a lot in the YouTube world, and really the desire from the viewing audience. So that was another reason I decided now was the time to jump into this. So I did just want to share a little bit about my background, just so you know a little bit more about me. Again, this is maybe something I can look back on myself, maybe family or friends will look back on years from now, or just in general that someone, if they're coming to this channel and are bored and really want to dive into the deep content here, has a little bit of sense of framework of where I'm coming from. So I'm 48 years old, I'm single, I have no kids, and I currently live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I've been here ever since college, actually came here for college and never left Pittsburgh. I grew up in eastern Pennsylvania in a small rural town about an hour and a half south of New York City, hour and a half north of Philadelphia. So small town America, but also a pretty rural area as well. It was not uncommon to smell cow poo in my school building with my fellow classmates that were farmers. Quite a few farms around. And had a graduating class of around 170 students, so relatively small school. Really grew up in a household with a mom and a dad, very blessed for that. Also have a younger brother. But I would say lower middle class, upper lower class, somewhere depending on the month and what expenses hit the family. But there were certainly times where my mom would say, well, this month we're living on love because there wasn't a whole lot of money to go around. But still a very blessed childhood. Never really wanted for a whole lot. There was always food on the table and there was always heat. And we always had a roof over our heads. So very blessed for that. Very blue-collar family, though. My dad was an auto mechanic for his entire life. My dad actually passed away about 5 years ago from cancer. I think actually partially because of the toxins that he was exposed to as a mechanic. But my mom worked in a blouse mill and then worked in retail. Ended up going from a pharmacy as a pharmacy technician to working in medical billing and working in a professional office environment, which was and still is very proud of that she was able to make that transition with a high school only education. My dad was only went to Votech, so I was the first in my immediate family to go to college. And never played any sports in school, so I wasn't very athletic, still aren't very athletic. But was around sports teams, though, because I was a manager, an equipment manager, and statistician, and different roles within the sports teams. So I did really enjoy sports and liked watching sports and being around sports, so I actually majored in sports management. Went off to Robert Morris College at the time, now Robert Morris University in Pittsburgh. And that's what brought me here to Pittsburgh, was pursuing a career in sports, and the dream was to work for the New York Yankees. But after a semester in college, I ended up changing my major 3 times in college. Went from a sports management major and concentration to hospitality management to then management information systems, and then ended up in human resources, all within the span of I think my first year in college. So ended up getting a degree in human resources. Maybe I'll do another whole video about the deep story on that. But got a degree in human resources, worked in the banking industry, recruiting IT professionals and web developers. Then went to work at a major corporate office for a very large retail chain. Worked at a small nonprofit, worked at a small startup company or small tech company, I guess you could say. And then for the last 20 years, I've been at the same nonprofit organization, working in a role in workforce development, where starting off with an annual budget of negative $50,000 to now have a team of 6 professionals in that department at our nonprofit, and have an annual budget of $2 to $3 million a year, just within our area of the nonprofit, and have kind of rose up from a very junior person there, managing some small tasks, and really started off as a 1099 independent contractor, to now being an executive in that organization and in a leadership role, overseeing a team, but also overseeing project management, marketing, product development, etc. So that's a little bit about my background. I'm sure in some of my other videos I'll get into a little bit more depth about that, or provide some additional details, but just wanted to, again, kind of lay the foundation here and start off with just a quick introductory video as I launch this new channel. I'm really excited about some of the content that I've already created that will be coming in the first wave of content here. And the first is on a video. The first is a video series around the mindset of being a starter versus a finisher. And I use actually this bookshelf as part of the example of that. Then we're going to dive into a whole series of videos around networking and the power of networking, the importance of networking, and some tips around how to effectively network. I think it's one of life's most important skills, so I'm going to dive into that. And then along the way, I'm just going to share some other perspectives and ideas and thoughts and success principles. We're going to talk about some of my favorite books and some books that I'm reading now that we'll get into, and then we'll see where the channel takes us from there. But that's the initial plan for the first wave of videos and kind of the general theme and direction of this YouTube channel. So if you've watched this long, then go create your own content or go watch something more fun and entertaining. I can't imagine that you've actually made it to the end of this video or have watched this entire thing. If you have, well, thanks for doing so. Appreciate the subscribe, the like, the comments below. And at least now you know a little bit more about me, but more quality content coming, hopefully. So thanks again. And to my future self that might be watching this in cringe mode as I'm looking back on this very first posting here, hopefully as you're observing this 2 years, 5 years, 10 years from now, the content has gotten a lot better, much richer, and who knows what doors this is going to open up to future pathways or possibilities down the line. So something I'm excited about looking back on and seeing where this journey takes me as I launch it here with this first video. Thanks.